Are you always late for your transitions, confused where to mix out? A track is like a puzzle. The best DJs can figure out that puzzle before the track finishes. Song structure and phrasing is the way that tracks are built up and put together. This structure is so prevalent you can actually see it on vinyl. The smallest element of this structure is a beat. Usually in most dance music this is a kick drum, but it can be whatever is driving the rhythm of the track. The amount of these beats that come at you per minute is what's called the BPM, or beats per minute, of the track. By themselves, these beats are just a random collection of stuff. Most dance music is based on a 4x4 time signature, or 4 to the floor. That means when we stick 4 of these beats together, we create something called a bar. Bars are like a little repeating loop. The first beat of a bar is called the downbeat. Sometimes there can be a little audio nugget on the downbeat that helps the listener orientate themselves. This can be something like a crash or a hi-hat. I've loaded up a basic house tune here. I recommend start with you just find any track that's got a very basic intro. And what we're going to do is just set a 4-bar loop. Most controllers or decks have this function available, but if not, you can do it in your software. On Rekordbox, we can just click this little number here to create a loop. That's set to 8 at the moment, but we want to reduce it down to 4. Then all we're going to do is practice counting along to the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This might make you feel like you're back in school again, but it really does help just nail it into your brain. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's be honest, this track is not a banger yet. Think of the bars a bit like ingredients in a meal. Basically just loads of crap we picked up in Aldi. By combining these ingredients, we can make something a lot more tasty called a phrase. Think of a phrase a bit like a course in a meal. Phrases are commonly made of 8 bars, but this isn't a rule. It's also common to see 6-bar phrases or 4-bar phrases. Every time one phrase finishes, you get served another delicious phrase. Phrases are musically different to each other in some way. This can be things like a new vocal, a new instrument, a chord change. There's normally a clue at the end of each phrase that lets you know a new one is coming. Common examples can be a drum roll, a riser type sound, or pulling back on everything to create tension. As I mentioned earlier, phrases tend to be 32 beats or 8 bars long in most dance music. What we're going to do now is increase our loop length up to 32. On Rekordbox you can do that by just using this small arrow here. It's now created this 32 beat loop. We're going to count along to the bars, so each time a bar changes, that's every 4 beats, we're going to increase the first number we say. So the first bar will be 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to swap over to 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, and so on until we get up to 8. Once we get to the 8th and final bar, have a listen to how the music changes to let you know that something new is coming afterwards. So let's get back to the start of our track, and then we'll play through this loop and count along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2. Listen for it. Go. Hopefully you noticed how the phrase changed towards the end to introduce the next part of the song. I know this can be a little bit tricky to get your head around, so that's why I made a free ebook to go along with this video, which you can grab at the link in the description. It's got loads of helpful diagrams and explanations that hopefully will help you get up and running. As we start to build up these phrases, we begin to get an idea of our song structure. Song structures can vary by track and genre. At a very high level, most tracks have some or all of these. An introduction, which is usually a gradual build-up of drums or percussion. It can also be an instrumental or vocal portion of the track. If your track has vocals, it's common to have verses, which are a series of lyrics that lead up to the main chorus. Almost all dance music tracks have some kind of breakdown, which is where the music really strips back and starts to build tension for the main chorus or the drop. You've then got the chorus, which is basically where all the good shit happens. Sometimes there can be something called a bridge, which is a part of the song which is musically different from any other, and it kind of bridges between 2 different parts. Not all tracks have this, but tracks with vocals tend to have this a little bit more often. You've then got the outro, which is often a bit of a mirror image of the intro. Very stripped down, usually just percussion, and the track loses energy as it rolls out. I want to show you this method doesn't only work on house tracks that have got a basic 4x4 kick drum beat. Thank God. As long as you can count along to music, you can really figure out the song structure of any genre. Let's listen to this drum and bass track and I'll show you that 8-bar phrase still works. 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 3 2 3 4 4 2 3 4 5 2 3 4 6 2 3 4 7 2 3 4 8 2 3 4 boots. Okay, you've got to count a bit faster, but it still works. The best way to get to grips with all this stuff is actually just to listen to different songs. Play some of your favourite tracks and just practice counting along to each bar. See if you can start to predict when a track is about to change and a new phrase comes in. Pay attention to how the length of phrases can be different in different tunes and different genres. Okay, we've now gone through the basic building blocks of a track. So how does all of this actually help us mix? The first mix that most beginner DJs normally learn is to mix the intro of a track into the outro of another track. To pull this off, you need to understand phrasing and song structure so that you know where to set your cue points and when to start pressing play on your second track. But don't think that's all that phrasing lets you do. For example, in drum and bass, it's very common to do something called a double drop, which is where you drop the chorus of two tracks at the same time. Without a knowledge of that song structure, you wouldn't be able to line that up. By understanding these concepts, it allows you to be much more creative in how you mix. You won't be limited to just mixing intros and outros. You can start to chop and change tracks, dropping different bits in at different times. Most importantly, it helps you with your timing. But there's another tool that can help you understand song structure: waveforms. That's why you should watch this next, where I teach you how to use waveforms to break down and read tracks. And these principles work whatever DJ software you're on and whatever kind of decks you're using.